Hello, welcome to Glosh Games. In this video I'll be covering a recent thing that I made called Plinko Redux. It's pretty much exactly as it sounds like, it's just Plinko but made by me. But what makes this special is that I did this all in half a day's time. It took roughly 12 hours of staring at screens, debugging, art, and SFX. But why did I do it? Well, for starters, it was my 2-year programming anniversary, and last year I remade my first ever game. So this year I figured I'd one-up myself. I would make a whole new game that I've never even thought of making before, with ideas that would turn out to be catastrophic. Before we start, I would like to cover some terms that I will use throughout the video. Number 1, pegs. Basically, that's just what the ball bounces on. Number 2, the pockets, that's where the ball goes to get scored. Moreover, I had intentions of having upgrades you can get, and I split those into 2 different types. Game field upgrades, which is where the outcome was external, and player field upgrades, where players had full control of what was going to happen. I decided to veto these just because for time. I was cutting it close. We start at 12:20 a.m., where we find me first opening the project file. Okay, here we are. It's 12:20 in the morning. I guess I should start by making some Plinko. I think to start, I wanna. How do you spell that? Okay, there. Right. So then I added physics. Yeah. Okay. You probably have to be a part of like a. We can make it a sprite for now. Maybe. There's no shape, so it can't collide. Okay, so then let's get our collision shape. I don't think it'd be a static body, but that's what my mind goes to, like, first. I've never used a rigid body before. Considering collision polygon as a child. So I have it flipped. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna make a very okay. That isn't necessarily how I envisioned it going. Maybe this has to be a part of this. Ah, there we go. I'm locked in. I'm absolutely locked in. Basically, I opened the file and immediately started to try and figure out how a rigid body 2D node worked, as I've never used it before and it's pretty vital to the project. Eventually I figured it out, but there was a problem. It was consistent, but I couldn't have consistency and I needed randomness. Then I turned off the recording, and here we are now, at 1:30 a.m. with basically the Plinko ball movement that I used throughout the entire project. Otherwise, nothing notable happened, but I did this really funny thing. Okay. 1.25. this is bounce. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 3, 4. Is inertia not getting printed? Bounce. Inert. Yo, where's my voice going? Yo. Okay, why am I being like stupid? Okay. Huh. Yo, I'm missing a comma somewhere, and it's making me look stupid. Comma. Right here, comma. My god. After that, I spoke about what the pockets would be like and their position and orientation. My idea, this is really bright, is that we have like, this is the ball. And then, you know, like standard Plinko stuff. That's terrible. So it just like goes out and out and out and out. But instead of having like walls here, we have like out pockets that is just like x 0.5. Alright, and then same thing there. 0.5. That's a 5. Trust. Oh shoot. Yo, I'm fried at drawing. Oh my god. Okay, it's a 5. But then here is like where the good stuff is. I think having it go something like where it goes like long into short would be good. And then like the middle one's gonna be like 10x. So that's my game plan. I think I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna start working on that. Yep, that's right. I fell asleep, but that brings us to 8:35, also known as the Great Morning Lock-In. I kid you not, I spoke basically 10 words throughout this entire clip. Basically, I was just typing away to get things done. After a good while, I finally spoke. Yikes. Okay. So but I do think that's more center. So, like, it's just, let's see. Is 23 pixels. Yep, that's pretty much all I did for a solid 5 more minutes. But what's this? I rearranged the pegs! Again. And now we're after the Great Lock-in, I finally started on the score system. It took me an hour to get a basic print statement going because of one Google search. Now, is this correct, and was I stupid? Maybe. But at the end of the day, I did figure it out. It was also at this point where somebody joined the VCA which I was in, which was a great morale boost, but alas, I was left alone yet again. Okay. So it's been a little bit since the last time I've recorded. I had lunch, and I also did this. So now I'm sure this is a very unoptimized way to do it, but that's how I decided to do it. It doesn't really matter. I can always come back to it later. Anyhow, this. So now all of the pockets work. Which is nice. I just exported the game to make sure that you can zoom in. You can still Plinko it up, and bang. So I think I'm gonna start doing a little art. And now I was doing some art, so I didn't have to look at this Godot guy anymore. Eventually, I started playing with lights in Godot, something I've also never done before. Two hours later of futzing around with sliders, forums, and YouTube tutorials, a breakthrough finally happened. I have fantastic news. I figured it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just super Super excited. Now we have a semi-working light system. Then I left for lunch. Another hour later, we now have an animation for when the ball goes into the pocket. It blinks! Fantastic news. I understand it now. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. Let's go. I think now we start on the UI. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do my arcade cabinet. Because I don't really know how to do that. But for what it's worth, this is low-key sick. I think we're gonna change these to be a darker gray, but still lighter than the background. There you go. Yeah. See, that does make sense. I just forgot. Okay, so since the last clip, I've redone and shrinken the pegs. Pockets all work nicely now. And so I think I'm just going to start working on finalizing. Oh, wow. Right after that, I added a theme for the project, which was also a first to use an actual Godot theme, which then led me to working on the UI, which left us here. Okay, I think I'm gonna take a break until dinner time. After I eat, I'm gonna finish the UI up. I've made good progress. After I finish the UI, I have to do main menu and then some sound effects. But that's pretty much it. Throughout this time lapse, I did many things, such as I made it so you could move around and drop the ball anywhere, as having it be at one spot seemed like poor game design. I finished off the UI and I made screens explaining how the game worked. I made a quick game button, and after that I was locked in. I finally exported it and made the itch.io page, which is kind of ugly, but I was finished, which brings us here. In the end, I spent roughly 12 hours programming in total, and in the end, I not only made a Plinko game, but a game using things I would have never even considered learning 1 year ago. Now I can sit back and enjoy the peace of having no crunch time. Right after Gamma. I promise it's close to getting done. I have a couple more things to do, and then the update's pretty much ready. Thanks for watching. If you liked this new development documentary style video, let me know, either in the comments section or in the Discord server in my bio. If you enjoyed my other stuff too, maybe consider subscribing, as the next Gamma Dev Diary will be really good. Thank you for watching and coming along on this journey, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and before I forget, if you're ever interested in playing a game that I'll make, or have already made for that matter, feel free to check out my itch.io page. It's linked down in the description, and it'll always be in my channel links.